Pillow Talk is a 1959 romantic comedy that's directed by Michael Gordon, and it stars Rock Hudson and Doris Day. The supporting cast features Tony Randall, Thelma Ritter, Nick Adams, Alan Jenkins, Marcel Dalio, and Lee Patrick. The film's script was originally turned down by RKO a few times in the late 40s and early 50s, until Martin Melcher, who is the husband of Doris Day at the time, took the script to Universal. The film at that time was titled Pillow Talk, but they were really worried that the production code would be displeased with that title. Melcher tried to get co-producer Ross Hunter to change the name of it to Any Way the Wind Blows, which was the name of a song he was about to publish, but the producer stuck with the original name. The storyline for the movie goes that in New York, the interior decorator Jan Morrow and the Playboy composer Brad Allen share a parting line together. But Brad keeps it busy most of the time, flirting with his girlfriends. They do not know each other, but Jan hates Brad since she needs the telephone for her business dealings and she can't use it. Coincidentally, Jan's wealthy client, Jonathan Forbes, that constantly tries to woo her, is the best friend of Brad, and he comments with him that he feels an unrequited love for Jan. When Brad meets Jan by chance in a restaurant, he poses as a naive tourist from Texas named Rex Stetson, and he tries to seduce her, and he does. But Jonathan ruins the scheme because he hires a private eye to find out just who Rex really is. Ross Hunter said that after he made the film, no theater managers wanted to book it. Popular movie themes at the time were war films and westerns. He was told by the big movie chains that sophisticated comedies like this movie went out with William Powell, and that they also believed that Doris Day and Rock Hudson were things of the past, and that they had been overtaken by newer stars. Hunter persuaded Saul Schwartz, who owned the Plaza Theater in New York, to book the film for a 2-week run. It was a smash hit. The public had been starved for romantic comedies, and the theater owners, who had previously turned down the producer, had to deal with him on his terms now. Marilyn Monroe is said to have wanted to play this role of Jan Morrow, but for some reason the studios didn't want her. It may have been that during that time she was on pretty shaky ground mentally, and she was just too high of a risk. Rock Hudson originally turned the film down 3 times because he believed that the script was too risque. He felt that this might harm his masculine image on screen. Doris Day finally talked him into starring in it with her, and it went on to be one of his biggest hits ever. The film would be the first of 3 to showcase the trio of Doris Day, Rock Hudson, and Tony Randall. It was followed by Comeback Lover in 1961 and Send Me No Flowers in 1964, with all 3 actors portraying different roles in each film. Now, in the scene where Tony Randall's character slaps Doris Day in the diner, a truck driver, played by John Indrasino, punches him in the jaw. They choreographed this scene and practiced it numerous times to ensure that Tony Randall wouldn't get hit. But during that take, the truck driver misjudged his swing, and Randall actually got struck and almost knocked unconscious. In the scene that you see next, which is actually the next day, you can see he has a bruise on his chin. Now, whether this is makeup or an actual bruise from the event, I don't know. It looks to me to be makeup, but he actually did get hit during that staged fight. One little point of trivia that I find really interesting, and these little tidbits just make the research into these films fantastic for me. I love these little bits of minutia. But in the Spanish TV audience, when this film was released on the small screen, That was done on the 20th of July, 1969, while everybody was waiting for the Apollo landing on the moon. Suddenly, the film stopped right in the middle of the show, so the Spanish people could see the landing on the moon live. The film was not re-shown on Spanish TV until 1999, when Spanish viewers finally could see the ending of this movie. Now, the movie really did push some boundaries at that time with the censors. One of the things that distinguishes the film so much are its innovative use of the widescreen format, and specifically its sly sexual innuendos created by split-screen optics, the most famous of which suggests Doris Day and Rock Hudson are sharing a bathtub together, and that his toes sliding down the wall tickle her instep. At one point in the movie, you hear Doris Day say that Rock Hudson's character is about 6 foot 6 inches tall. In reality, he was really 6'4". But by adding to his height, it made the short actors of Tony Randall and Nick Adams seem taller. They were both only 5 foot 8 inches tall, or maybe even a tad shorter than that, which made Rock Hudson's character just tower over them on screen. Now, as many people know, there were a lot of films done by Doris Day and Rock Hudson, and they were big-name stars that everyone at the time thought might be romantically involved with each other. But Doris took her marriage vows real seriously, and Rock Hudson, at that time, was a completely closeted gay man. But from the moment that they met, an immediate mutual respect evolved, and they developed a lifelong friendship. And this just radiated on the screen whenever they worked together. Now, one of the minor characters that you see in the film is Marie, and that's played by Julia Mead. She's a face that most people would recognize, but it's not from movie theaters that you would know her. Every Sunday night, she did a commercial for the Ed Sullivan Show. So every Saturday, she had to fly to New York City to film this show. She was an extremely popular pitch person for commercial ventures on live TV, and was sometimes classified as everybody's favorite sales girl. Some of the commercials that she did would run up to 5 minutes long, and they were usually associated with automobiles. But this movie was Julia Mead's film debut. Doris Day's films of the 1950s and 60s, or more accurately, the fashions that she wore in them, generated a great deal of interest from the female moviegoers. As a result, the costumers paid very careful attention to all of her fashion details, right down to the jewelry she wore. She was definitely a trendsetter in fashion. One of the very first scenes that was shot for the film was when Rock Hudson drags Doris Day out of bed and carries her through the streets of New York to his apartment. After many takes trying to get this scene right, Hudson's arms were hurting and completely worn out from carrying Miss Day. So the production crew created sort of a sling which held Miss Day, and it hooked over Hudson's shoulders to evenly distribute her weight as he walked, with the electric blanket cord dragging behind him. During the 1950s, Doris Day was a popular face to see on the big screen, but she was really known as kind of the girl next door. She was a classy girl that you just didn't view as a sex symbol at the time. But this film single-handedly changed everybody's opinion of her. She always had the assets. She just hadn't been portrayed that way on screen. But the producer of the film, Ross Hunter, knew this all along. He always stated that she had one of the nicest behinds that you could see in Hollywood, and he felt like it was time to show it off. And that's what he did in this film. The movie started a rebirth of Doris Day. If you've never seen Pillow Talk, you need to take the time to watch it. It's a pretty good film. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll continue to chase the classics.